grease in those. There'll be grease all over, and that's not too bad of a job at all. Definitely something I've done. And you can see the other end of the axle right there. Those are called half shafts or CV axles. Pretty common for these boots just to get brittle and break. So the more freeway driving, I've found that they don't break as soon the more freeway driving you do. So kind of helps if you buy a freeway car. That's something that you don't really have to worry about, but we'll probably do that another day. So I'll take out those 2 bolts and we'll go from there. This is the caliper bracket right here. Those bolts are on really tight. See the bolt hole right there. This holds the caliper on, makes it so it's tight on there. These bolts were actually 2 big ones, were 17s. They're not very long, but they do hold that bracket into place. The reason why they're not long is because they would go in the rotor from the back side. So I undid those. So now we're ready to take off the rotor right here. So I'll undo these 2 screws with my special tool here. And forever I've just always had to drill those out because I've never been able to get them out. But this tool is really nice. It saves a ton of time. These are actually Honda's. And also you want to make sure, if something I forgot to mention, you want to make sure that the pads are wearing evenly from front to back. So these pads are actually cracked. You can see it from the heat. So they've had some good heat ups, but they're pretty much evenly worn on both sides. This can indicate that your caliper is bad, in which case you would need to replace this big piece right here. Probably on this car, probably about $50, $60 for the part, and then the only pain is you have to flush it and bleed it. So kind of a pain if you do end up breaking a line or that caliper is sticking. So on the underside here, I'll show you this caliper. There's a piston right there that pushes on your brake pads and stops the car when you push on your brakes. So we will undo this and we'll see how that goes. So these are the screws, as you can see. I don't know if you can see, they're really rusted in there. That tool makes it super easy to get these out. With a regular screwdriver, you don't have a prayer to get these out. You'll always end up drilling them. This tool is about $17, so definitely worth $17 because usually it took me a couple hours to get those little screws out. And I bought new ones, so because now I have the tool to get them out. It's not a big deal. I only had to hit it about twice for each screw to get them out. So now comes the rotor. So I just hit it. It should come loose here. See all that? So sometimes it takes a regular hammer to get these off because sometimes they're rusted pretty good on there. They're tight, so because the wheel's pushing in on them all the time. So now the screws are out. One right there and one right there. I did squirt them with a little bit of that rust stuff, and that really helps. And they were really rusted in there. So I'll get this rotor off, and you can see what I'm. So I did actually have to end up using a regular hammer to get these off. I had to hit it pretty hard. As you can tell, all these pieces are all just rusted metal. So I'll clean those up when I'm done. Usually rust right here where the rotor sits on the hub. This is the hub. This whole thing is called the knuckle right here. So yep, the new rotors are ready to go on. Just reversal of, to install it all, you just pretty much reversal of the removal. So should be good to go. So this is a new rotor. We're going to take this, we're going to clean it up real good. Just a rag right here, and you're going to use this brake parts cleaner, and there's actually kind of a filmy protectant stuff on this rotor, and you're going to take it off with real easy with this. Brake parts cleaner is really toxic, so I mean it's okay to use, but you'll definitely smell it. So you just wipe around on both sides. You can see the oily layer protectant right here a little bit, maybe, I don't know. That's what we're going to take off. So, and then we're going to put it back on. put the rotor on the car, put the brake pads on. So these new brake pads, like I said, they're Hondas. You do have to put this stuff right here. This is kind of a disc quiet stuff that they have in between this silver plate. The silver plate comes off. Let's see if I can get this off with my hand here. The silver plate on the back comes off, and you put it in between the plate and the pad, and that makes it so it doesn't vibrate and it keeps it quiet for you. So Honda pads really last a long time, and they're very quiet. So I think it's worth, a couple extra bucks to get them from Honda. I think other shops wanted, for aftermarket, they wanted about $10 more, so it was actually a better deal to get the Hondas. Some people think that the dealer's parts are ridiculous. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. In this case, that they weren't, so we'll use those and we'll put it back on the car. So you just spray your rotor. And then you just wipe it off. So pretty easy, you just do that both sides. And this oily, filmy protectant stuff comes off. They do that for shipping, and so that it won't scratch even in the box if the box comes open or something. So that's how that works. Alright, we'll put it back together and you can see what it looks like. Okay, we're going to put the rotors on. This bolt right here is a big 17 for the bracket. This stuff right here is called high temp urea grease. Super high temp urea grease. It's made by Honda. Or Honda can contract somebody to make it for them. But this stuff is really awesome because, one, it goes a long way. It's super high temp. It was actually developed by NASA for rockets. The bearings in the rockets use this stuff. And really, really nice to do. But just put a little bit on. Usually a little can like this costs $10, $12. It lasts forever, probably about 3 years. So with as much stuff as I do, long time. And when you undo this bolt the next time, you'll see it. It'll still be there. Amazing stuff. So definitely recommend some kind of grease. I like the high temp urea grease. It lasts forever. Make sure that these bolts, you can see the rust on them. They don't get so rusted, and that way it's easier to undo them next time. So put this bracket back in, and I'll show you what to do with the caliper to get it. Since there's not much pad left on the other old pads, but there's a lot left on the new ones, I'll show you how to get those in. So we got the brake pad. This one's with the indicator. It will go on the back. And then there's actually two plates, I guess, and these usually they just have one. So you got this gray one and the silver one. Put this brake stuff that came with the brake pads in between both layers, just to make sure that they're not going to create a lot of noise for you. And then smash it all together. Still do that for the other one too. As you can see, the rotor's on, screws are in. These are new screws. Part number right there. Pretty much all Hondas that I know of have these screws in there, and people don't like them, but I like them. Helps to hold the rotor in, so I put the screws in and I put the bracket on and held the rotor into place, so I didn't have to keep messing with it. So put the stuff on, put the pads in, and I'll show you what to do with the